It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. There was some strange stuff. Your wife and I discussed it on the subject of Poland. Now, I ended up with somebody from Poland Spring Water. Now, I thought they closed a long time ago. They were in the woods somewhere in Poland. Used to drive through. They handled bottled water. And I ended up being fed to some female who was sort of motor mouth discussing what to eat. I don't know who she was. Something about, can I get her toilet paper? Because she missed her deceased husband. I said, well, where are you? I thought they might be even in here or some kind of game going on. Where are you? I don't have a vehicle, and I can't help you at all. I don't have one. Get her some toilet paper. So, that was a strange call. I discussed some of that with your wife. It made no sense to me at all. About Poland, I had other calls due to an office there that I was supposed to show up for a medical appointment. I don't know anything about Poland. They used to ask Robert Oni, used to be the name, Ohne, Ohne or something, Ohme. I wondered whether they were looking for Robert Savadov or something. But I did not have an appointment with them in Poland or Poland Springs either. So that's all messed up in this thing. And I was crossed wires, and your wife and I discussed this with Sensual's Place, which is a beautiful place as far as having dinner. There are many. There is a nice Italian one that plays violins. Marco's up the street for one thing in the evening. Wonderful pair of Italian food. Now, there used to be Gaslight in Portland, which was French-oriented. And I know they were good. There might be a restaurant maybe in Poland that's geared in that fashion. I don't know, maybe that came up. It's all a mess. So, from my perspective, I've done the analysis, and I would like a mate this year, if it's at all possible. I want to speak to my daughter again. And the male has to be able to calm even Dennis if necessary enough that the discussion has to take place. You have a good day. He protects her well. And I don't have a thing against him on that. And Podraza, excuse me for bothering you. I got an email, sometimes they're later, that said your phone is tied to a fax number, and if you're busy and quiet and in bed, please don't let this bother you. I'm going to hang up now. Podraza here. This is for Don. I just received a phone call that was delivered at 8:55 approximately, at the right time, p.m. on a Wednesday. I get these repeat calls concerning your stuff. Now, the end of the sentence is an entirely different voice. Your voice and a deep voice. It reminds me of one that was on, I can't think of the street, that said we said no to you. It reminds me of a megahorn deal in Massachusetts of a deep voice. Now, I'm not going to get involved with this other than you must know that the phone is messed up again on the subject of you. Two different voices. Now, were you a multiple, I'd worry about you. But we've had so many problems on this. I'm sure not one. And that would make me wonder about that, other than the mess-ups we've had on the phone. I'm pretty good with an ear for voices, but I never knew who that was. I'm told that Robert Savadov is deceased. Now, I think he had a deep voice way back in my 20s. Now that's all I can tell you. Serious stuff also when that begins. Waiting for a lamp. I've got to make one phone call. Do not have records on file on my blood type. They can't find it. That's important on the subject of not rodents, but importance on the drawing of the animal proclivity. I think my mother was AB negative. My father, I don't know, and I don't know mine. If you can find it, great. Have a good day. Excuse me, I'm messing up. My mother was married 32 years. This is Podraza. This is for your wife. We were having that conversation. It's both of your homework sometimes, and you laugh on maybe the subject of naturopath. 32 years, she married in her early 30s and lived the rest of the time alone till 91. And that gives her your wife some perspective on that. Have a beautiful rest of this weekend. I hope I haven't botched it for you. Enjoy it. We'll speak to each other next week, hopefully, anytime that's easiest for you. Podraza is next. The Nutritional Wellness Center, 899-0993, area code 207, fax 899-0826, Wellness Center, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5, Joel, Joel, Hall, Hall. He's there Tuesday through Saturday, 9:30 to 10 a.m. Oh, no, you rise 9:30 to 10 a.m., Tuesday through Saturday. That's his arrival time. Have a good evening. I hope you open up. No call back, please. I'm going to relax myself, and I'm going to retire soon. And if my gut levels were of help in that, I could do that. Granted, I don't have the credentials, but I'm talking about as a husband. And I don't know how Brandon Hickey ended up in that situation. Way back, my brain was putty, and his staff was told not to denigrate me at all. He had to get his work done. I went back in the trust department. That's a miracle that I did anything. I had no memory capacity at all. That was 2 years of God's time. Louis Polina was a major problem on that situation. It's caused me no end of problems in Maine on waitressing. I tip them well, and the cooks are very much complimented. I had to deal with something due to Phil Weber. I know he and Evelyn go there a lot. Had to be dealt with. It has to be cooked correctly for me, and normally I am not critical. I am only critical when something is wrong with the thing, real badly wrong with it. There should be no denigration in a restaurant at all, and no denigration with my respect toward the hard work of whether it's a male or female who is serving me at a table. They're tipped 20% all of the time, and boy, I don't have money flowing. And that's how we're at it. I haven't signed the lease. I've got the balances straightened out due to a constructive conversation with my son, and something went wrong. I had to get Calzone, not a vegetable. I've got a tight budget. I have a budget for 2 movies, and they are therapeutic for me. There are 2 I will see. On the subject of morals in those films, how they're looked at as far as emotions and thinking processes. You have a good day. I would like to hear one way or another if you are still willing to work with me. I'm trying to protect Joel Hall on this. It's between the 3 of us on this subject and where you stand on it. Those are facts that should be looked at. And I don't know whether Joel Elgord is still involved in this. I want a husband this year. And I do want him to share this bed. Whether he has to swallow pride, then he does so. That's respect for that son. We work from there. How that impacts, I don't know. There are trains, there are buses, there are vehicles. Now, I don't get involved with seances, calling up